everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be discussing this problem that just occurred in the introduction part, and we'll be discussing about how to solve this problem and how to help the students and sometimes even ourselves as teachers. So let's get into it. First things first, we need to be careful about this fact that students are not sick, students are not ill, they're not having problems. So we shouldn't act as like we are doctors and they're our patients and we're going to solve their problem, we're going to make their disease fade away. We're teachers and they're learners, and the only thing that we can do is to help them. So we cannot give all the students the same pill so that they will just be perfectly fine. Even doctors don't do this when they see like their clients. So we have to be careful about this. We'll be discussing more about which pill to give which student and how to actually help them more. Start with visual learners. Visual learners are the ones who take numerous notes when you're teaching them. And their notes are normally in detail. They just write down everything in detail. When you ask them something or when you tell them something, even a new word, they will just have a picture of that in their mind. And they have a very, very strong imagination. They can picture everything in their mind. Visual learners are normally clean and tidy and organized, and they normally close their eyes to remember something. So let's talk about how to teach these learners. Of course, the best way is to show them pictures, show them videos, show them something that they see and learn. So they Let's go to the next learner. Next learners are the auditory style. These learners normally like to sit where they can hear the speaker better, no matter if they want to pay attention or not, but they just want to hear the speaker like the best quality, and they want to be in a place to talk to people. Like normally when they're bored, they come to you and they start talking to you. They prefer talking to people. Another like very interesting thing about auditory learners is that when you ask them like, what are you wearing, or like, why are you wearing this clothes today, they'll answer you like, okay, because I like this jean, or like because I just like this t-shirt, but they will never talk about the color or like the material of the clothes. They will never tell you that I wear this t-shirt because I like the color. You'll never hear them say this. So let's talk about how to teach these kind of learners. As we said, they like to listen. So the best like strategy to teach them is just to talk to them. Like normally just like give a speech to them. They will learn best. Another way that they find useful for themselves is that they verbalize everything that they've learned before. So they try to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. So rote learning, although these days we do not say that that's a good kind of learning, but auditory learners will benefit from the rote learning. So you don't need to prepare any diagrams, charts, or like pictures or videos for auditory learners. That's a plus point. That's a very good point for you as a teacher. So you don't need that much preparation, we can say. The next learning style is kinesthetic type. Actually, these people like to experience whatever they'll learn, and they want to sit in a place, like in a classroom. They prefer sitting in a place like near the door or like in front of the class, or somewhere that they find completely convenient for like standing up and moving around, and they are so active. They need lots of break times, and like when you're teaching them, you cannot go on for like completely 3 hours. You have to give them lots of break times and like different activities. When they speak, they use lots of gestures, and they use their hands for just like literally speaking to you for 1 minute. And from this you can understand that they're kinesthetic learners. So let's see how we can actually teach them. As we said, they really like to experience things. So for teaching them, you just prepare a situation or something for that lesson, and you keep them engaged, and you let them to work on projects, and you give them different projects using field trips. They're crazy about field trips. They like to go to different excursions and like campings, and they like to be in that place. They like to be in that situation and learn. Another thing that is important about them is that so if you ask them what happened like the previous lesson, they cannot tell you what you told them, or like maybe sometimes what you taught them, but they can completely remember what happened. For example, if one of their classmates fall down, or like if you left the class early or something important happened, they can recall that perfectly fine. But when it comes to what you taught them, what you said, it's hard for them to remember. So why not teach them in a way and like teach them in a situation that they remember? The only way to help them, to teach them, is to put them in a situation and let them learn. So, our learning style as teachers are important too. Actually, they're really important. So you have to keep an eye on it. You have to teach each learner depending on what their learning style is, not what your learning style is. So if you're visual, you don't go to the class showing everybody pictures and videos and come out and you're like, oh good, I done a perfect lesson. You didn't. That was the way that you learned the lesson best. It doesn't mean that all your learners will learn the same way. Or some kinesthetic teachers think like, okay, giving the students the project and like telling them to go on the project, or like going to campings, like giving them different tasks, that will work best. She prepares lots of tasks, lots of materials, and she goes to the class. She gives the students the handouts, want them to do the project, and when she comes out of the class, she's like, oh my god, I did a perfect lesson. But she actually didn't, because there were lots of students who were auditory learners. Maybe they were visual learners, or maybe like one of them were kinesthetic. So why did she do this? Because she paid attention to her own learning style. I know it's hard. When you're a visual learner, you pay attention to visuals and videos, and you want to do the same for your learners because you think in this way they learn best. So the best solution that I'm going to tell you is that you have to take a test from your learners the very beginning of the first session. So why starting the class before you know, okay, how does this girl learn? Or how does that boy learn better? So why should you start a class without knowing what their learning style is? If you want, I'll give you some standard like useful questions that you can pass them to your students and want them to do the quiz, and then after that quiz you'll understand what their learning style is. This file is good for like kids, teenagers and adults, but for kids, you need to give them to the parents and want them to do the test for them, or like want them to mark the correct answer. But you can just perfectly give it to the adults, hand it to the adults, and they will do the test, and it will actually takes only like 2 minutes from your class, and after that, you'll know all the people's learning styles, and now you're ready to prepare your material and let them learn. The last tip that I'm gonna give you on learning styles is that there is no one 100% auditory learner, and there is no one like 100% kinesthetic. We don't have that in this world, for sure, I can tell you. So we normally are a mixture of some of. In this case, if you understand that like most of your learners are half visual and like half auditory, then you can prepare lessons having speeches and like giving some slides or like videos in some sessions so that you cover all the students' learning styles. So keep it in mind that there is no person in this world who is 100% of a learning style. We have a mixture of them, and you have to be careful about each one of them in each one of your learners. Don't forget to subscribe my channel, give video a thumb up if you enjoyed it or if it was useful for you, and let me know your ideas about it in the comments below. Put your notifications on so that you will never miss my videos, and hope you like it. Stay safe and see you next video.